The janitor at your office building might be worth more than your CEO. Sounds crazy, right? But Ronald Rad, an actual gas station attendant and part-time janitor, died in 2014, leaving behind $8 million. $8 million. Nobody saw it coming. Meanwhile, there are people in your feed right now posting champagne brunches who've got $17 in their savings account and a credit card that's screaming for mercy. Here's what keeps me up at night. We've been lied to about what wealth actually looks like. And today, I'm going to show you 10 invisible moves that separate people who build empires from people who build Instagram feeds. Stay with me because I'll reveal why the smartest investors are doing something with their old furniture that sounds absolutely ridiculous until you see the numbers. Move 1. The silent strategy. My neighbor Frank never talks about money, ever. At neighborhood barbecues, he listens. When someone mentions their new car lease, he nods. When they complain about expenses, he sympathizes. What nobody knows is Frank retired at 43. He owns his home outright, has zero debt, and his investment portfolio generates more monthly than most people earn working 60-hour weeks. There's actual science behind this. Research from behavioral economists shows that when you broadcast your goals or wins, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical you get from actually achieving them. You literally trick yourself into satisfaction without doing the work. It's called social reality. Cal Newport writes about this in Digital Minimalism, how the performance of success has replaced the pursuit of it. Frank once told me something that changed how I see everything. The moment you need people to know you're winning, you've already lost. That quietness isn't about being secretive. It's about being free from the addiction of approval. And speaking of freedom, the next move is something wealthy people do at thrift stores that would shock you. Move 2. Reverse consumerism. Here's something that'll sound backwards. Millionaires shop at Goodwill, not for the Instagram aesthetic or the vintage flex. They do it because they've decoded something the rest of us missed. Depreciation is a thief, and buying used is how you rob it back. A brand new couch loses 60% of its value the second it leaves the store. 60%. You paid $2,000. It's now worth $800. Meanwhile, someone bought a pristine leather couch at an estate sale for $300. Same quality, same function. They just saved $1,700 that's now earning 8% annually in an index fund. In 30 years, that single smart purchase becomes $18,000. Morgan Housel talks about this in The Psychology of Money. How wealth isn't about income, it's about what you don't spend. But here's the twist nobody mentions. The wealthy aren't cheap. They spend huge money on things that appreciate or hold value: land, education, businesses, tools that make money. A rich person will drop $15,000 on a certification that doubles their consulting rate, then turn around and buy their kitchen table at a yard sale. Move 3. The compound time bank. Let me paint you a picture. Someone spends 1 hour daily, just one, learning copywriting, coding, real estate analysis, or sales psychology. That's 365 hours a year. In 12 months, they're not the same person. They've essentially completed multiple college courses worth of practical knowledge. Now they can freelance, consult, or start a side business that generates an extra $35,000 annually. That's life-changing money from reclaimed time. But here's what breaks my heart. Research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the average person spends 4 hours daily on entertainment and social media. 4 hours. That's a part-time job spent consuming instead of creating. If you redirected just half of that, 2 hours, towards skill development, you'd have 730 hours annually to build something that actually pays you back. Ask yourself this. If someone paid you $500 an hour to learn a high-income skill, would you find the time? Of course you would. So why are you giving those hours away for free to algorithms designed to keep you distracted? And here's something coming up that'll make you rethink every subscription you've ever signed up for. Subscriptions are financial vampires. They're small, they're convenient, and they're bleeding you unconscious. The average household now pays over $600 monthly on subscriptions. That's $7,200 a year. Invested at 10% annual return over 20 years, that's $455,000. Ramit Sethi teaches in I Will Teach You to Be Rich to automate your finances. But here's the brutal honesty version. Automate payments only for things that build wealth. Everything else gets manual approval. Make it hurt a little. Make yourself consciously decide every month whether that meditation app you open twice is worth more than your future freedom. Go through your bank statements right now. Seriously, pause this video and find 3 things you're paying for that you don't actively use. Cancel them. Redirect that exact amount automatically to an investment account before you can respend it. You won't miss it, but your 50-year-old self will thank you. And speaking of your future self, there's a move involving whole life insurance that's either genius or a trap, depending on something almost nobody checks. Move 5. The insurance arbitrage. Insurance companies are betting you'll live long and pay more than you'll claim. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes you can flip the script. Here's what the wealthy know. Term life insurance is dirt cheap when you're young and healthy. A 30-year-old can get $1 million policy for around $40 monthly. But here's the move. Instead of buying whole life insurance, which is expensive and has terrible returns, wealthy people buy cheap term insurance and invest the difference aggressively. Let's run numbers. Whole life might cost you $400 monthly. Term costs $40. That's $360 difference. Over 30 years at 9% return, that's $573,000 you built yourself instead of giving to an insurance company. The insurance industry makes about $70 billion annually on whole life products. That money comes from somewhere. It comes from people who didn't do the math. Now, there are exceptions. If you've maxed out every other tax-advantaged account and you're in a super high tax bracket, whole life can make sense. But for most people, it's financial quicksand marketed as safety. Your attention is worth approximately $240 per hour if you're making $50,000 annually. Every distraction is literally stealing money from your future. The wealthy build fortresses around their focus. They don't have 47 apps sending notifications. They don't check email 17 times before lunch. They guard their cognitive energy like it's gold, because it is. What could you create, build, or solve in 2.3 hours of unbroken focus? Maybe a business proposal, maybe a freelance project worth $800, maybe the strategy that gets you promoted. But instead, that time evaporates into notification responses and context switching. One entrepreneur I know checks email twice daily. That's it. 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. 30 minutes each. Everything else is blocked. His productivity tripled. His income followed. He went from $72,000 to $218,000 in 2 years, and he attributes 40% of that growth to reclaiming his attention. Delete apps you don't need. Turn off every non-essential notification. Create specific windows for communication. Treat your focus like the finite, precious resource it actually is. There's a famous study, the marshmallow experiment. Kids who could wait 15 minutes for 2 marshmallows instead of eating one immediately ended up more successful decades later. Higher SAT scores, better jobs, healthier relationships. That ability to delay gratification predicted their entire lives. Now, translate that to money. The person who can wait to buy the car, wait to upgrade the apartment, wait to splurge on the vacation. They're playing a completely different game. They're not depriving themselves. They're buying time. They're buying freedom. They're buying the ability to say no to a job they hate. Here's the math that changes everything. Let's say you really want a $40,000 car. You could finance it, pay $600 monthly for 6 years, and end up paying $43,000 after interest. Or, and stay with me, you could drive your current car for 3 more years, invest that $600 monthly at 8%, and end up with $24,000 in cash. Now you buy a used version of that car for $18,000 and still have $6,000 left over. Same car, but in one scenario, you're paying a premium for immediate satisfaction. In the other, you're getting paid to wait. The wealthy understand that patience is profitable. Daniel Kahneman won a Nobel Prize proving that humans are wired to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future ones. The people who fight that wiring win. Every delayed purchase is a vote for your future freedom. And here's something that sounds contradictory, but works. The move coming up is about spending more, not less, on one specific thing that most people skimp on. So here's where we land. Stealth wealth isn't about being cheap. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about being intentional. It's about choosing freedom over appearance, substance over performance, legacy over luxury. Now go build something that lasts. In every video, I try to discuss and address the factors that surely improve the chances of your success. If you like this also, subscribe the channel, like and share the wealthy knowledge to your loved ones. If you're curious about 8 signs of quietly wealthy, that's exactly what I cover in the next video. See you there.